Hey, don't turn it off yet. Here's what's coming up on the Nice Guys on Business.
I don't think that people who speak to sell and do really well on stages are natural. I think that they've honed their skills. So this is a skill anybody can learn. In my opinion, I really do believe that any entrepreneur who is really driven and really wants to reach more people can learn this skill of speaking and can actually succeed at it.
If a leisure suit could talk, it would sound just like the Nice Guys on Business. Running a business is hard. Being a business leader is even harder. The Nice Guys bring in top industry pros to help your business prosper in a tough world. Get real advice from real people to get you real results today. Now it's time for the Nice Guys on Business. Here's your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
All right, Nice Guy community. So today, self-described introvert turned extrovert, using her voice, sharing her story with some pretty unique, huge goals, including the BHAG, the big, hairy, audacious goal of accomplishing the unicorn, a 7-figure launch. Now, I'm not 100% sure if she's gotten there. Maybe she has gotten there. We're going to talk about that today and how to make that happen. Moira Ni Ghallachoir, welcome to the Nice Guys on Business podcast.
I love that intro, Doug. Thanks so much. It's great to be here.
Well, I was doing a little spying on you, and I know you've been on a couple of other shows, and this was one of the goals that you had coming up. Now, I don't know if that means that it came up and you did it, or it hasn't come up yet and you're still looking to have it on your goal list. So why don't we start there since we kind of got into it? It has happened, or you're working towards it?
It's happening. It's happening.
So is it happening right now?
It's all in the process. Yes. Well, I'm in the middle of a challenge right now. And after this one, it's just about doing better. So each time I do one, I'm just looking for how I can improve. But that BHAG is still there and I'm going for it.
What's it like throwing yourself out there? And because that's a vulnerable moment. That's one of those moments where you say, oh man, I've got it. Now I've got to do it. I've kind of put it out there to the world. And I've heard you say it on other shows. So I didn't want to be shy about not sharing it on our podcast, not knowing really the answer. I've never had a 7-figure. I don't even know that I've had a 6-figure launch. I hate launches. I hate live events. I hate all the things that most people that build an online business kind of gravitate towards. I'm kind of the anti-gravitate towards that. I'm like, I hate that stuff. I love building one relationship at a time, but I understand the allure and the sex appeal of saying I've had a 7-figure or I've had a 6-figure launch. But I got the feeling that's not why you do it. It's not for the sex appeal. It's for the assisting and supporting all of those people to help you accomplish that goal. So tell me what it's like to kind of throw yourself out there and say that.
I would compare it to like getting in a street fight with yourself, Doug.
You're throwing down now, like a West Side Story,
Yeah, like Rocky is my favorite movie of all time. But yeah, it feels. It doesn't feel like a tactical, strategic thing. It really feels with a battle with myself and my own beliefs. And when I chose the goal, it was very exciting and I was like, yes, I can do this. But it was an avalanche of stuff that has come up for me. And what I love about that is that stuff may not have come up only for I chose that goal. And I would say what I've been through in the last 7-8 months is probably maybe 5 years of personal development.
Totally get it. I mean, I totally understand what you're saying. As I was doing some research for putting together some of the questions that I was hoping that I was going to have a chance to ask you today. Not that I'm much of a question preparer kind of guy, but you always want to get to know your subject in your interview a little bit better than just arriving and networking with them. There's a popular quote by a guy, his name was Norman Vincent Peale, and the quote says, "Shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you'll land among the stars." So if the 7-figure launch was your moon, arriving not even at a 7-figure launch, oh man, I only had an $800,000 launch. So talk to me about how this kind of tricks you into success, setting a goal like that, so that my community that's listening might be able to relate to what you're going through right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge advocate of entrepreneurship being more of a journey of becoming rather than doing. And I think what we tend to do is skip the being and jump to the doing and the having, and then we find the doing hard because we're not looking at who we're being and how we're approaching it. So I mean, for me, it really helped me look at who I was being in my business and who I was being on a day-to-day and what needed to change about how I was showing up and my message and the way I was supporting people. So it's almost accelerated, like even what I thought I'd be capable of. And it's just got me thinking so hard about, the things that hold other entrepreneurs back. So I'm on a mission to uncover all of this for myself, deal with all of the stuff that's going to come up so I can help other entrepreneurs do it. Because me doing this, yes, it's going to be amazing for me. And, that's awesome. But I want to teach entrepreneurs how to do this. That is the goal with this. I want to help them collapse time and get success faster, because I think it's what entrepreneurs forget is that the sooner you get to success, then the longer you can live in success.
Right.
And we don't have a lot of time. I know that we say life is long and things like that, but like how many other people listening feel like February was like, 2 months ago? And it's like, now it's Thanksgiving and Christmas and it's like, what? So choosing this goal has really helped me become somebody I think it would have taken me 5 years to become and still becoming. And doing it in months versus years.
Well, they say that entrepreneurship, is full of a lot of hidden gifts that we get, unrelated to necessarily the end result, which is, well, I get to be self-employed and I get to make my own money, and I get to pick which 20 hours a day I work also, rather than having a boss tell me. Can you think of some hidden gifts that you have gotten as a result of being an entrepreneur yourself?
Well, certainly I uncovered that my voice was probably my most powerful marketing tool. And that's not where I looked when I started my business. I was all on the tactics and learning all these complicated things that I really had no business learning because I had zero interest, and it was just eating my time and killing my energy. And then I more or less stumbled upon speaking. And then what I was able to do in 30 minutes on a stage at a small local event here, I was like, wow, it takes me a month or 2 months to kind of do that online. And I did that in 30 minutes. I was like, wow. And I just talked. This is crazy. Mm-hmm. So I think that's probably been the biggest breakthrough for me in terms of a marketing strategy. And I was like, wow. And we all have one, and it's in our back pockets, and most people aren't using it.
So your journey through entrepreneurship, I'm sure, took many different phases and all sorts of different tools and tactics that you have used and strategies along the way. Can you select maybe a strategy or two or a tactic or two that has really worked for you? You mentioned something just a moment ago about speaking. So I'm assuming that speaking has been one of those tools that has been tremendously powerful for you and your voice. So maybe share what that would be for you.
Yeah. So I would say speaking and networking has been the two biggest things that I've used to grow my business.
Mm-hmm, that's all right. But, little of both.
I love getting in a room with entrepreneurs, like going to like a big event. If there's like, people showcasing and everybody there for learning, I am there to meet as many people as I possibly can. And again, like what you can do in a room like that, especially if you have a message to share and you're on a mission, like that has grown my business like tenfold. And I kind of went on a bit of a networking spree when I started my business first. And really, I grew it to 500,000 in sales just using speaking and networking. And then sometimes I would do a sponsorship as well. But again, that was around speaking and networking too.
So Nice Guy community, think about this. And Moira is not referring to getting paid to speak like a National Speakers Association speaker. She's talking about selling from stage, presenting an offer from stage, and being able to actually pave your way in gold to do that. One of the things that she's going to offer to you guys, and totally free for being in our community, is 7 biggest mistakes that speakers make that cost them a fortune. And we'll tell you a little bit more about that and how to get a hold of that. Is it like a PDF? What is it exactly, Moira?
Yeah, it's a PDF, and I've literally listed all the mistakes that I've ever made.
Yeah. I can relate to that. If I only had enough room in an entire notebook to write the 12,000 mistakes that every podcaster makes, including us, and we've made some of them twice, so I could actually name it the 24,000 mistakes that a podcaster makes before becoming successful in the world of podcasting. How did you know that speaking was the thing? Because that wasn't your gift prior to you using your voice. So how did you know that? I forget the expression, something like Edison created one way to make the light bulb, but he did 28,000 ways to not do it right. How many things did you do wrong before you got it right?
Well, I tried. I was big on social media, as in I loved it. So I was boosting posts. I was trying to do Facebook ads. I was blogging. Those were the main things that I was doing. And I was like, and plus writing was taking me so long. And I guess speaking never really occurred to me because, growing up, Doug, I was like, the two words I feel like I heard the most was shut up, stop talking. Right. And it's like that. So that didn't even enter my head because I had this fear of speaking that I had no like interest in entertaining, but it was only when I even had a teacher say to me, and I remember him clearly saying, Moira, you will never make anything of your life if all you want to do is talk. And I still remember the day he said that to me. So, when I got into business, speaking was the last thing on my mind to do. And I didn't even know. I was a very nervous speaker to begin with, but I was also someone who was on a mission, and I also like a challenge. So I did it. And what really amazed me was that I felt that I did a below average job the first time I spoke, and I still got an above average result in terms of what I was doing with my marketing time. I was like, okay, this is interesting. And that's when I went on a mission to learn and hone my skills as a speaker. I don't think that people who speak to sell and do really well on stages are natural. I think that they've honed their skills. So this is a skill anybody can learn. In my opinion, I really do believe that any entrepreneur who is really driven and really wants to reach more people can learn this skill of speaking and can actually succeed at it.
Talk to the person that's in my community that's either a coach or a consultant that is struggling with the connection of their business to speaking, because as a speak to sell or speak to make money type of person, the process sounds like it's pretty much in flow with you every time you understand what that means. But there's people in my audience right now that are saying, yeah, but I'm a real estate professional. What are you talking about speaking to sell or speak to make a living? What does that mean to them out there?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing you need to remember, if you're an entrepreneur, you're solving a problem. So what is the problem you're solving? What is the solution you're providing? And then that's what you're going to talk about on stage. And then when you share your story on stage, your story then needs to make sense as to why you teach and do what you do. That's simple. And then at the end of your talk, you just want to give people an offer so that they can have a faster path to getting what you just talked about. And if you do a good job of that, you'll have a high conversion in that room, either directly to a paid offer. I don't suggest you start there. I started by just offering free roadmap sessions with me. And that's how I grew my business. And I was creating high ticket clients on the back end of those stages.
I love that. I love that. Now, keep in mind, again, Nice Guy community, what's so great about what Moira was just saying is it does not necessarily mean, especially in the beginning of your journey, if you think that you're speaking from stage to an audience of 20 or 50 people, which is a pretty typical audience if you have a small crowd, and maybe 100 or more people if you have a medium-sized crowd. We're not talking about generally speaking in front of thousands of people. The pressure of making a paid offer from the stage is that you feel like if I don't make the offer and I don't sell it and do it exactly right, it's hard to convert an audience member that's seeing you for the first time to a $1,500 or $2,000 or $5,000 offer. It's easier to commit them to a freebie that you have or a consult that you have. So maybe just can you talk about that philosophy just a little bit to help take some of the pressure off of those people that are like, I want to do this, I want to speak from stage, but I don't really have a $3,000 offer to sell right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's literally the fastest, easiest way to do it. And this way you can get to know who the audience are, who are the people that are actually wanting your offer. So then when the time comes to actually sell from stage, you've spoken to so many of these people, you know how to speak to them when you're actually selling your offer. So there is some like logistical differences, but it is more or less the same thing. But what I would say to people is, make your mistakes when the stakes are low with speaking. Like find a local event with 20, 30 people that maybe know you a little, spend a couple of hours like practicing, do your best job. And if there's mistakes going to be made, make them when they're low. Because what you said it there. Like people start thinking about speaking, they start putting people on pedestals, thinking they're superhuman, ex-spokesmodels, all of that. I truly believe that those days are gone, that people want real, raw, regular people who make mistakes on stage, who are not perfect and polished so that they can relate to them. But I would highly advise, if people really want to do this, make as many mistakes as you're going to make, not when you've paid for the stage or there is 100 people in the room.
I've had a chance to listen to you on a couple of podcasts. One that I heard in particular as I was listening today, grateful, joyful, and feeling blessed is a vibe that you share with yourself as a daily mantra. How'd you come by that?
Well, I mean, gratitude is the key. And I mean, I consider myself a grateful person, but I tell you, there are so many levels to this. Like I really have to remind myself every day of how grateful I am, right down to just my dog sitting on my knee in the evening and how grateful I am for that. And that gratitude and those simple things, that actually gives me joy, and writing it down, that it makes me joyful. But I'm just so happy and over the moon that I'm doing something that I love, that I'm living in a place I love, that I have freedom. So how could I not have joy? And how could that not be joyful? But it's reminding yourself of that on a day-to-day basis, because we can just get caught up in all the BS that goes along with it and the stories we tell each other. And the person who says something negative about one of our posts, or, a client who does this, that, or whatever, but it's just always bringing yourself back to gratitude. And I can realize gratitude like 10 years ago, but man, that works.
Talk to my community about enjoying the journey and not just focusing on the destination.
Yeah, for sure. So I've literally built my business around everything that I love. I love helping people. I also love to travel, and I also like to make a lot of money. So I really built my business around that. And when I got into speaking first, Doug, I realized that the same groups in Ireland were in Europe, and the same groups in Europe were in America. And I was like, oh, so I could travel doing this? This is amazing. So then I started to look for speaking engagements in places I wanted to visit. So if I wanted to go to New York, I'd say, I want to go there in July. What's going on in July in New York? And I would find a stage, and then I would get myself booked on that stage, and then I would book a flight. And I'm like, this is amazing. So I think that I found something in my business that really was a passion of mine. And then I built everything around it. And I think entrepreneurs feel like they have to sacrifice to grow their business. And I don't. I really do believe that you can have both. You can have joy, you can have freedom in your business, you can make a lot of money. It doesn't have to feel like a sacrifice. And if, people are listening and they have big visions for their business and they haven't done it yet, you have to understand that there will be no destiny if there is no difficulty in what you're doing. But if there is difficulty, you want to have something that you can rely upon that lights you up. And for me, that's travel.
So for those in our community, if you want to get a little bit more insight as to how to do what you're doing and do it better, and then maybe do this from stage also, get a hold of Moira's paper, 7 Biggest Mistakes That Speakers Make That Cost Them a Fortune. I'm sure you don't want to cost yourself a fortune. Don't want to spin your wheels. Life is too short, as opposed to contrary belief that we have a long, long life. It is actually, it's a blink of an eye. Take a moment, download the document. If you head over to the show notes now, you can get your copy of it. Just click on the link in the show notes. 7 Biggest Mistakes That Speakers Make That Cost Them a Fortune. Moira, if you weren't doing this, what would you be doing?
If I wasn't doing that, somebody asked me that recently. It really kind of got me. I used to want to be an actress, so maybe I'd be doing that.
That's interesting. So would you do, now what part of the world are you in?
I'm in the northwest corner of Ireland in a place called Donegal.
And in Donegal, do they have any type of opportunities for you to be an actress?
Well, I have been on a number of documentaries here, and I have been invited to audition because here I speak Gaelic here. It's a Gaelic speaking area. And then we have a Gaelic speaking national station. So people that have the language and, can possibly speak and present, they're not exactly in the masses. So I have had opportunities. So I think I probably would have started on Irish TV and then maybe moved to Hollywood. Who knows?
Talk to my audience about maybe as a business owner, some of the things that you are still working on. I think that people not you, and certainly not in this particular case. People tend to live a Facebook feed life, meaning everything is always so great. And I have my 7-figure house, and I got my 6-figure car, and I'm making my 7-figure launches every week. But that's not the reality of it. People always deal with what's that sign that is above their head, work in progress. So what is your work in progress when it comes to you and your business?
I think the thing that's a work in progress for me, and I hope this is answering your question, is that I'm working on creating a retreat space here at my house. And my goal is that I've been hosting international retreats for my clients for the last few years, minus the pandemic. But I want to bring more people to this corner of Ireland, because I think that when people come to a place like this, it's so old, it's so authentic, that it really brings people right down to the roots and the basics of who they are and what life is really about. So I want to be able to bring people here and dial in their destiny with speaking and create their $1 million business plans.
I love it. And the first step to that would definitely be through that 7 biggest mistakes that speakers make that cost them a fortune. Don't let this be you. Okay, just click the link in the show notes and you'll get a copy of that. Moira, thank you so much for sharing your message, your inspiration, and your business with our community today. I know we'll be getting a lot of good feedback from this.
Oh, thank you so much. This is a great conversation, Doug. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Nice Guy community, never underestimate the power of nice. Again, special thanks to Moira. All of her information, including access to that document, will be right there in the show notes. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. Don't underestimate the power of nice.